up, players? Welcome to episode number 62 of Ready Press Play, your weekly source for everything that's new and exciting in the world of video games. Every Friday at 6 a.m. Pacific or 9 a.m. Eastern Time, we discuss the top news of the week, notable releases on all platforms, while we're playing big topics of the industry and the games we love. If you want to write anything to be read in the show, go to ReadyPlayNetwork.com or hit us up at Ready Press Play on Twitter and TikTok. No matter where you found us, please subscribe to the feed so you can get every new show directly to your device as soon as it posts. And if you like it, please leave us a nice review. This is March 19th, 2021. I'm your host, Daniel Lima, and I'm joined as always by my co host, Mr. Louis Menchaca.
You know, Dan, I am very happy that I don't have to write the show notes and write the time codes for this show.
Yeah, so we're gonna try for those that have followed us along for the last few weeks or months or years or however long you've been following us along for. We're gonna try something a little bit different today. We have a slightly differently structured show. Liz, especially after we started doing this on video, I started realizing that our show is very regimented, right? Like to the point where like there's these like very clear segments with like intros and transitions and etc. And I think it contributes to the quality of the podcast that we do. But I also sometimes I wonder if like that is the ideal way to do the podcast, considering that I feel like sometimes when we go dive deep into a spoiler cast or a special DLC episode where we just kind of talk about a big topic through the whole show, like I feel like the conversation kind of flows a little bit more smoothly, and I sometimes enjoy those better. Especially seeing like the phenomenal job that you and Troy did at your special episode for Ready Play Movies. I was thinking that I kind of want to experiment today and like have a less structured show where we just kind of talk about whatever. I do have a list of topics that we can potentially hit on, but I don't want us to be like stuck to the topics necessarily.
You forget about the phenomenal job that you did with Leah on the Valentine's Day special on this podcast. So,
Yes, that is correct. Yes, I obviously I don't want to give myself the props there, but we also did a pretty good episode according to um what would you call it, like listener feedback,
yeah,
including you
yeah,
on that one, and that was also a much less
structured,
hard
yeah.
structured show. So
Well, see, that's the thing.
this is not going to be like.
I actually wanted to dive into that. Like, I've been thinking about like, we're now part of like the level one like lineup, right? Of like we're part of their daily upload schedules, and I was thinking to
Mhm,
myself like, what is it that what sets us apart? What makes us unique is that we're very like professional and very regimented,
mhm.
very segmented, very organized. The Double XP podcast, man, they just throw memes out everywhere. Like like they're just kind of like like trolling. Like that's kind of like their thing, and like it's a vibe, right? And I think that we bring.
I hope they don't feel offended by you
I
saying
don't.
that.
I say that. I say that with in jest and endearingly. And by the way, so I think that's why I tune in. By the way, I've been watching their shows, but like they're live. We're pre-recorded. You know what I mean? Like so, I'm thinking to
Mhm,
myself like that's the thing that we bring to the table is
mhm.
a different flavor. And I feel like us doing our like these are specials. We do them DLC specials or whatever. And I feel like us doing that. I feel like we're kind of doing their format as is how it feels
Mhm.
like they have a show on Friday. Damn, what's I can't I watch every Friday. I just know it's Dallas and Barron. Take not Take Two
Isn't
podcast,
it the
but
double take? Yeah, or
no, not that's
clogged in the
Thursdays.
machine? That's
That's a
Hugger.
Tuesday. That's Hugger.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm so sorry, dude. I watch all your shows and I'm blanking right now. But basically, they're just two
That
friends
happens.
hanging out and just shooting the shit. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
that's their thing, and it feels like doing their show. But
Yeah,
it's fine.
we should definitely get some alcohol involved in episodes like this. By the way, like
Yeah.
I actually just
We
went
sh-
and Leah went to grab some things today, and then I asked her to grab a six pack of beer, thinking about that, but then I ended up not going and getting it right now.
we're so
It will also
organized, but
be.
we don't even plan that. Come on.
Yeah, I know, right?
So that was
Well,
my next
we'll see how
question.
it goes.
My next question, though, I wanted to ask you though is who do we play to? Like, what audience do you think we should talk to more? Like our audio listeners or our video watchers? Because here's the thing: when we were doing the show last week, I was talking about I have this on screen. I have this on screen. Like check
Mhm.
this out. I was like, oh, and to the audio listeners, they don't see what's on screen. So I'm thinking to myself, should we like avoid saying something is on screen to like not you know alienate them.
Alienate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Personally, like I hate when I'm listening to an audio there are podcasts that I listen to that are audio and video. And a lot of times as an audio listener, when they do shit like that, I feel alienated and I hate it. Cause it's like I'm trying to like make sense of what's going on just based on the audio, and it can be frustrating as hell. And sometimes people make a point to take the audio listeners into account even when they're doing those kinds of segments. So they'll do like, for instance, like NVC, which is IGN's Nintendo podcast. They've at times done kind of like show and tell episodes where people bring in,
Oh yeah.
collectibles that they have, and they'll
Yeah.
show it and talk about it. Or they usually they do that when they have a collector on as a guest on the show, right? Like a notable collector. And I understand why they want to make that content. And what they will do to keep the audio listeners included is that they'll
Describe
narrate.
it.
The
Yeah.
host will narrate and describe what's going on as it's happening. So I think as long as we do that, then it's probably okay. But I still don't think we should do it often. I think for the most part, the focus should be, that this should work for 99% of the content. It should work as an audio content without requiring people to watch the video. I hate it when I'm listening to a podcast and then people are commenting on somebody's shirt without saying what it is. They're like, "Oh my god, dude, Lewis, I love your shirt today," or whatever. And it's like, "What is it?"
Which he does love my shirt, by the way.
Yeah, Lewis is the has the this great producer seducer shirt, which is a kind of funny merch.
Yeah.
They're not paying us to say that, but I do really like that shirt. If I were to get any of their shirts, I'll probably get that one. As we were
Yeah.
saying before we even started recording.
By the way,
Um,
I have one more ace up my sleeve, but I'm gonna go ahead and hold on to that. Go ahead and take it away.
oh, okay. What do you mean by that? Like an item that you want to show, or just something you want to bring up, or okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see about that.
Yeah. We'll see.
I just, before we get into the shit we're going to be talking about here today, I just wanted to give a shout out to our Twitch stream. So twitch.tv/ready press play.
Oh
We
yeah.
used to stream pretty consistently last year. We're not doing that this year. We did one stream of Halo Combat Evolved, and we're going to be wrapping up that game. Hopefully, I know we're for sure going to be wrapping up that game the next time we stream, which is the Sunday at, I think we agreed on,
Noon
was it 10
Central.
a.m.
Noon
noon
Central.
Central,
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Pacific.
Pacific. Okay, cool. Yes.
Oh, and
So
also
gonna
for all you YouTube people watching, I do a hell of a good job making the description of this video. And in the description, all of our socials, from my Twitter, his Twitter, Ready Press Play Twitter, like Ready Press Play Twitch account, is all in the description. Our Spotify, everything. Like I go ham on the links. Our composer his Spotify link is in there. So the show notes also for the podcast has a bunch of the links. I don't think it has our Twitch link, but I'm pretty sure Dan will include it this week.
I, I will say, Lewis, that it's always fun when you kind of surprise me a little bit, because my expectations tend to be pretty low for things in general. That doesn't mean necessarily for you specifically, just like in life in general.
Okay.
I'm an optimist, but I like to keep my expectations in check. So whenever we were putting this on YouTube for the first time, because we didn't even talk, I think we didn't even talk about the YouTube description and things like that. That I just kind of assumed that we're gonna just drop the video there and that's it. And then actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because I do want to give a shout out that you actually did do a pretty good job at setting up the show and putting, updating all the time codes accordingly, and then, writing the description with all the links, and it was great. So good job on that.
Thank you. But yeah, screw it. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and pull out my trump card here. We're just gonna throw all the stuff that you had planned out the door because it's about me.
Okay,
All right.
give
So,
it to me.
so I
Mhm.
gotta say that I decided to just break down and just let the terrorist win.
What?
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
I rewarded bad behavior, Dan, and I have
No.
to.
Oh my God. You bought a PlayStation 5? Is that it? Did you buy it from a scalper? What? No. Okay, cool. Cool. Now one of us can finally cover the PS5 in this show in some way. If if you get it out of the box. Have you gotten it out of the box
Yeah,
yet?
yeah, it's set up in
Home
the living room and everything. So like, all right, I had to do mental gymnastics to do this. All right. Okay, so first
Mhm.
off, like I've been keeping my eye on eBay listings, I'm just kind of like, scrolling and being like, oh, what? Like, just looking at these $1,000 listings. I'm like, I'm not gonna buy that. It's just too much, $900
Yeah.
listings. I'm not gonna buy that. It's too much. And then it just slowly, over time, it's been going down. And I found an eBay listing for $720. And I
Mhm.
was thinking to myself, like, I would, if I were to buy it at retail, because like I'm in the state of Texas, I know what the sales tax is.
Mhm.
With sales tax, I would be paying $540, and I'm thinking to myself, so $720, minus 540, I would be paying $180 extra that I normally would not have incurred had I just bought it at retail. And I'm thinking to
Right.
myself, all right, $180, can I live with that? And then I thought to
Mhm.
myself, okay, if I have been averaging about $160 a month in Fortnite for V-Bucks. All right. So if I
Right, which is
abstain,
ridiculous, by the
yeah,
way. That's insane, but okay.
if I abstain from buying any more V-Bucks till at least May 1st, like no more
Mhm.
dropping money, like the V-Bucks that I have in my current account at the time of when I bought it, that's just gonna let it rock. I got to
Mhm.
stretch it out. I got to stretch it out and make it work. So I
Mhm.
decided, all right, the challenge is in order for me to eat the cost of how much I paid for the scalper, I have to not buy any more V-Bucks in Fortnite till May. And
Okay. Alright.
it also helps. It
Fair
also
enough.
helps that I got the stimulus, so I didn't really need to do that. But
That is true, that is true, there's that going on as well, it's the PS5 stimulus. I wonder how many people are taking that check and spending half of it on a PS5 right now like you did.
yeah,
But, you do you, so each can use their money for what they please, I don't judge. I will say that $180 more to get the console early because who knows when you would be able to buy it otherwise, right? So you can look at it as like an early access fee, basically at this
I've
point.
been trying. By the way, I've been going on the whenever the following Wario 64 when he posts the links when they go live.
Hmm.
Can't even add it to my cart. I've been trying. But yeah, man. Like, by the way, the DualSense is slightly bigger than the DualShock 4. Like, it's fatter in the hand. It's taller just by
Hmm.
so slight, and I've been playing this for so long that I can tell the difference just by whenever I first came to grips with it. It was like, oh, this is big. And that's what she said.
Dude, it's it's a fantastic controller, and I've played the PS5 actually in two occasions. Or actually no, one occasion because my sister's boyfriend got it,
Oh yeah, that's
and
right. You told me about that.
but I actually didn't play his, but I did see a friend that was able to get it too, and I put hand sanitizer on my hands and
Oh my
everything, and
god.
he let me try it out, and dude, I played Astrobot. Is it called Rescue Mission or is that the VR one? I don't remember. Playroom, Astro's
Astro's Playroom is
Playroom.
the one. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's actually a mode in that game that's meant to just kind of like show your friend kind of thing, which I love when games do that. I've seen a few games do that. It's like the show your friend mode, where it was just kind of going through like seeing how the dual sense works and etc. And that controller is fantastic. Like what they're doing with that controller is really cool. The haptic feedback is really well done. I like it better than I do on the Switch because I'm not a huge fan of it on the Switch, and the controller just has this weight and this feel to it that just sits perfectly in your hand and it's comfortable and it's great, and the triggers, the difference in the intensity of the triggers is cool as well. I can't remember what they call that, but
Haptic
basically
feedback, or yeah, I think it's called
no
haptic.
haptic
No.
no haptic feedback is the
Oh,
vibration,
never mind.
right? It's the
Okay.
rumble, but with the triggers in the back they have this thing.
The pressure sensitive one. It's like not the
Yes,
tension or whatever.
yes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I haven't actually like tried any of that stuff. All I did was boot it up, set up my account, and download
Hmm.
some streaming apps. And I downloaded Fortnite and Spider Man. I installed Spider Man off on the disc, and that's it. Like I have not done anything
Hmm.
at all. Like it literally came in the mail today. Like I had to open the package during my lunch break, and
When you say Spider-Man, do you mean like Miles Morales? Did you get the Ultimate Edition
yeah.
with the that includes? Cool.
Yeah, although I'm probably not gonna play Miles Morales for a while because I'm probably gonna just play the 2018 remastered version with
Mhm.
the Tom Holland wannabe model. But yeah, like I'm probably not gonna play it till Sunday because Saturday night I'm gonna get off of work and I'm just gonna watch the 4 hour Justice League cut and then yeah. But yeah, so just saying like I'm very excited to have it, and I predicted I said last year during one of our episodes and in late 2020 I said I don't want to have like number 65 be titled PlayStation 5 impressions, which is kind of
But it
messed
will
up.
be. It'll be
But,
number
but I
63.
know, I know. I was like,
Yes.
I can't believe I caught it. And the worst part is like, I would have been wrong because if I'd have stuck to my guns and not bought it off of eBay, who knows what number it would have actually been.
Oh yeah, dude, for sure. Like at this point, considering I'm about to go through some stuff later in the year that I'm gonna have to be saving some money, so I can't even like drop it on it. But at this point, I'm expecting to get mine on the fall, like when whatever the next big wave for the holidays this year probably is. It's probably when I'm gonna end up getting mine. Because I don't even think they're gonna be readily available until then. Like the way things are going, like there's no news of them getting better to find, as far as I could tell.
No, but knowing my luck,
Um,
it'll be the case where they're like, now it's in stores, and I'm like, ah, God.
yeah, I know. Like, it's like tomorrow. Like, there's in stores everywhere, and Sony drops the price to like for $100 or something.
Yeah, just to fuck
No,
with me.
definitely not.
Yeah.
It's but it's funny. You're gonna have to resist, not getting Lara Croft on in Fortnite or
Oh,
actually, you probably have you're gonna have the battle pass, so that's fine. We'll see
yeah.
what other uh skins they're gonna add. So Fortnite season 5 ended. I actually managed to get level 100.
Did you get all
The first
the Mandalorian Beskar
yes.
armor? Okay.
So, it was the end of the season, since the last episode, and I played like I honestly played probably like 12-ish hours of Fortnite, if not more,
Jeez.
since we last recorded. Yeah, and it's like it's not like I did it all in one go. Like every day I was playing for like an hour before bed, like I've been doing for a while, and then over the weekend I played like I think there was like one day like Sunday I played like almost like half the day. I was just playing Fortnite,
Hmm.
and I wanted to. It was this weird thing where I was like, uh, I felt kind of played in a way because this is the first time that I bought the battle pass, and I'm going through getting the rewards. And I remember on Friday thinking like, okay, the season is gonna end in a few days. Um, but you know what? It doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm happy how far I went. I'm not gonna be one of those people that like just grinds on the game for all my weekend to like get to level 100 for these digital rewards that don't mean anything. Like I'm bigger than that. I'm better than that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna let the game get me in that way. And then there I was on Sunday, just doing like game after game, like trying to do as many quests as I could, just trying to grind, get that level 100. And I did. And then I was still missing some of the quests. And Lewis actually was the one that reminded me of that because I kind of forgot about it. And so Monday night, I logged in and or I actually think it was Monday during my lunch break,
Oh
actually,
my
that I
God.
went in and I did the Mandalorian quest that I hadn't done yet. Though there was only one quest, Lewis, that I couldn't do, which was one of the Predator ones, the one where you had to shoot people while being on thermal view.
Mm.
And I should have done that a long time ago, but I kind of procrastinated on it. I didn't care for it. And then I tried to do it on Monday and I wasn't able to do it. There was one game where I was fishing for like 20 minutes and I
Oh my
couldn't
God.
get the fucking fish that I had to get. And then the other game, I did get the fish. And like, look at this. I got the fish, and then I proceeded to spend the rest of the game looking for somebody to fight, and I couldn't find anybody to fight for like minutes until it was like literally somehow I just didn't run into anybody until it was just like me and like a few other people. Like I was like top 5 or something. And then I ate the fish and I went for them and they killed me and I couldn't get it.
Oh
So
wow.
ultimately, yeah, and then I went to try it again, and then the game was off because servers were shut down at
Oh.
I think it was 9 p.m. my time, and yeah, so I missed that one quest, but it doesn't matter. It was like I don't even remember what the reward was. It was some kind of I think it was one of the gun skins or something. I don't. It wasn't a big deal. So I didn't care.
Oh
But yeah,
yeah. So
new
the
season
Predator
of
rewards.
Fortnite's
Okay.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So new season Fortnite is out. It's called Primal. The season 6 of chapter 2. Some of the new skins include Lara Croft. There's some different designs of the character from Tomb Raider, which I think that's pretty cool. They also are gonna have they're gonna have a Neymar skin, which I'm like, what the hell? How are they gonna even make that make sense. He's a soccer player.
Oh my
Like,
god.
how does it?
Fortnite is
How does
everything,
they haven't
first
showed this
off.
one yet? I know. Like, and I also love that it's like, oh, the theme of this, the theme of the season is primal, right? So we got Lara Croft because you can now hunt on the island. There's all like this whole theme of like hunting and like wild animals, and
Bow and
Lara Croft kind of
arrows. Yeah.
yeah, bow and arrows. Like Lara Croft fits that theme. Then you also got Raven from Teen Titans, which is like, okay, well, that's a little bit of a stretch, but I can see it. Which I'm guessing they might add more characters from Teen Titans. I think that's gonna be a thing. Like,
I'm predicting more
forgot his
DC
name, but
in
the green
general.
guy. Yes, I could see that.
Mm.
What's the what's the green guy in Teen Titans? I can't remember him anymore. He can turn into animals, so that would make sense as well. And then like a character like Beast could make sense, maybe like so. They're like you can fit many things into the theme, but then they announced that one of the characters that they're going to add is going to be Neymar Jr., the soccer player from Brazil's All Star World Cup team, and who plays for Paris Saint Germain right now. And I'm like, what the actual fuck? Like how are you gonna be running around as soccer player Neymar holding like an assault rifle, like killing people? Like this game is beginning to like make no sense anymore, and I love it.
So they've had plenty of like athlete integrations, not like specific named athletes, but they've had like
Mhm,
like the NFL have like their football jerseys on normal like Fortnite skin looking dudes or whatever, like just the jerseys. They had Pele's like emote where he like jumps up and puts his fist up in the air. They had that as an
mhm.
icon series emote. So they've had like those type of integrations. They haven't actually had signed any exclusive deal with like a named like player or athlete or whatever. But I'm not
I
surprised. I'm
Yeah.
surprised it's like it's not someone like that I personally know, like someone like a Beckham or I don't know,
Mhm. Oh,
some soccer star that's transcends just soccer fans.
yeah. Well, Neymar is like a huge star at the moment, like has been over the last few years. But I get your point because he it feels too recent, right? Like somebody like a Beckham, like he's had a history in the past, right? And like obviously Pele and like these people. So like
That's the one I was
that's a
thinking of. Cristiano Ronaldo. I was thinking about why not
Cristiano
him? Yeah.
Ronaldo. Um, I would argue for Neymar because I'm Brazilian, right? Like, and I have mixed feelings towards Neymar as a player when I'm watching Brazil, like games in the World Cup and stuff like that. But I feel happy about the fact that like the first named athlete being represented in Fortnite is a Brazilian player. But I understand where you're coming from there. I want to say just one thing about the season 6 though, because I already started playing some matches. I haven't bought the battle pass yet because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait till April to see what the new Fortnite crew skin is,
Hmm.
and then if it's a good skin, I'm just gonna get that instead and have that include the battle pass.
And
But
then
which
get
I
it a couple
recommend
of
people
days
do that
into April,
potentially.
so that way you can get the May skin for free without having to pay for it.
There we go. Well, didn't you try doing that and
No,
it
it
didn't
did.
work though?
No, what
Oh,
it
it did work.
doesn't
Okay.
do is the V Bucks. The 1,000 V Bucks won't get deposited into you,
Oh, I
but
see. I see.
you will get the skin. You will get two skins
Perfect.
because
I'm gonna do that then.
yeah.
Make my money go a long way there. But one of the new features that they added this new season is crafting. And what that is that have you played season 6 yet or no?
Yes, I
Yeah.
have, and I
How do
hate
you
it.
feel about the crafting? Yeah, I don't it feels so difficult to access, right? Like it's just not really easy to do, and it bothers me. Like I feel like they should have figured out a way to make it a one button thing that you can do while like in combat and stuff. The fact like you kind of have to like find a good safe place to go into the menus and figure out what you need and see what you can do. And
Not
I
to
don't know the
mention
way that it disrupts the.
getting the materials is actually really difficult as well because you have to hunt like wild boars and stuff
Mhm,
like that, and it's not a really I don't know, like it feels like the balance is off because now all the guns have been substituted, like they put new guns in these primal guns or whatever,
mhm.
and these guns are so weak and they're so inaccurate, like it just I don't know, it just feels like it makes it harder to like I guess in one way it's to make it easier for like newbies and stuff like that because newbies don't die as easily. You don't just die when you land.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's like I don't know. It's just it's overcorrecting. I feel like, and I don't know. I just don't like the feel of the guns, and they're just. And not to mention, I can't even get like blue level guns or purple level. I don't think I've having played for like a day for when the season started. I never got a purple gun like at all, and that shouldn't be that hard to do. But now it's like you got to craft and upgrade your guns to make them
Yes.
stronger, and it's like whenever the previous system was like you just find an NPC, and if you have gold, then you just spend the gold,
Mhm.
and then now it's like now NPCs aren't even offering to upgrade their guns yet. I have yet to find an NPC that does. Granted, I haven't played that many matches, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just scrap that feature altogether to like emphasize crafting your upgrades. And I'm like, I can barely do a match and get enough material, raw material in general. Period. Like, ah.
Let me ask you a quick question here before we move on. Since you've played Fortnite way more than I have in the past, it seems to me that with Fortnite, each new season adds new mechanics to the game, and it keeps like incrementing the game. Like it's not like they're getting substituted. It's like these mechanics are all getting added. So you got things like now you got like the bounties
Yeah.
that were added, I think last season that
Hmm.
continue on this season, and I remember there was like a spy themed season where they added all the hiding spots, and that continues to be a thing in the game. And there was like the season where they added the boats and the cars. Like I remember from outside, like seeing all these things that they added that all coexist together in the game right now. Have they added features like this before that then got removed?
Yes, seat features
Um,
get removed all the time. Like even last season, they got rid of tunneling. You can't just like stand on the sand and like tunnel your way through anymore. Like there's items that are like they even advertise that they're limited time items, like that one like snow globe thing or whatever, like the hamster
No,
wheel.
I get that. I get that they remove items, but I think there's a difference between removing items versus removing like a full feature, like as if they removed fishing from the game, for instance, or something
Hmm.
like what I mean, like an action that you can do. I can see the tunneling though, like that kind of counts. Um,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have it. They've done that before. I can't think of any off the
mhm,
top of my head, but tunneling does come to mind. But also, they do remove weapons as well. There's
mhm,
even whole game modes that are cycled through on a playlist. Sometimes, like even last season, there was a game mode called Unvaulted, where every weapon that's ever been in Fortnite is there. You can pick it up and it's unvaulted. So whether it be like Slurp Juice or
mhm.
Rifts or whatever, like even right there you go right there riffs. That's a mechanic that was removed in the game. So yeah, it just they're constantly keeping on evolving the game, and it's just keeping players on the toes. And I'm like, there's some complaints with my group of friends where they're not liking the first impressions of the season. They're like this. They're just
Mhm.
they feel like they're making things complicated just for the sake of being complicated. Which I
Mhm.
I don't know. I kind of sort of agree, but at the same time, I was just telling them I was like, yeah, but they have to constantly put features and throw things at the wall to keep the game relevant from
Yeah.
like a non boredom perspective. That's how the game stays on top is because they're constantly churning out new seasons and new features and new characters, new items, and so that way it makes people keep coming back for more.
And they'll iterate on it, right? And I expect it to these things to get better, maybe with time, like these new systems.
Yeah, and it just makes me wonder,
So I've been
like,
playing.
it makes me wonder if there's ever going to be a definitive season where everyone unanimously agrees that this is the best peak Fortnite or whatever. Like, when will we realize that, or we will just realize it after the fact, to the point where, like, you know how like WoW Legacy or WoW Classic came out, like I think it was
Mhm.
last year or whatever. Like, is there going to be a situation where it's like Fortnite gets re-released as Fortnite Classic, but nobody can agree on what Classic is?
Who knows? Maybe we'll see that. Maybe we'll see that one day. Maybe not. I don't know. So far, I think the last season was better than this one, but it's too early to say. Probably. I didn't just play Fortnite. I've been playing a lot of random shit, Lewis. Like really random shit. I talked last week about how I was playing around on my Wii, or actually my Wii U that has all my Wii data inside it because I transferred when I got it. And I started playing Skyward Sword. I have gone back and I continued. I played some more Skyward Sword. And it's interesting to be playing that when the Switch remake is or remaster is coming out soon. And I gotta give you something, dude. Like I talked shit about the remastered trailer before because I was like, this this remaster doesn't look good at all. Like this remaster looks like they didn't do anything to the game. And then I went back and I'm actually playing through the original Skyward Sword on the Wii, and that game looks so bad nowadays. Like in 2021, playing it nowadays, it feels like you're watching like a 240p YouTube video from 2004 in like your TV or something. That's how bad it looks. And it's interesting. Like I don't have any problem with the art style. Like I still think the art style of that game is really cool, and I actually think it inspired the art style for Breath of the Wild a lot. Because they're kind of similar in some ways. There's still a lot of things that I like about the game, but it's just crazy. Like I don't remember the game looking this bad, and I think about how, in 2011 when that game came out, I probably had at best like maybe like a 40-inch TV that I was playing it on with my Wii then, and versus playing it on a 65-inch now, like having like a 65-inch like 4K TV and playing this old Wii game on it, I feel like makes it look even worse. And especially now that you're more spoiled, like I'm playing, my Series X and etc. and my PS4 Pro, and then I go and here's Skyward Sword on the Wii, extend it to your 65-inch TV. Um, and it just doesn't look good. So you were
So
right. They did do
there's
a good job.
I've seen the side by side comparison, and I will say that the new version of the new version on the Switch, it's like defogging
Hmm.
the thing. And I was gonna add to that that the how do I put this? There is some things that you could be doing wrong, and I'm gonna just go out and assume that you are. So
Okay.
for one thing, you're probably using the RCA cable, like composite, which is like yellow, red, and white. So the
No, I'm using an HDMI cable.
Oh my God. Oh wow.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I'm using you know what? I think I know what you're gonna say because there's like another version of the composite cable that you could use on the Wii and that improved the image quality, right?
Yeah, it's called component. Yeah. So
Hmm.
I was thinking you could use component cables, and then if you use the component cables, then you can go to the Wii settings and turn on 480p. Because if you're using the yellow, red, and white cable, it could be doing interlaced, which is 480i. I know I'm pretty much like in the weeds when it comes to the technical mumbo jumbo, but as a point of clarification, is like the
No, it's a good point because I think my game looks worse than that video that I was just seeing, like the comparison video. And yeah, like, but I am playing on the Wii U. That's the thing. It's like the Wii U is just HDMI, right?
Yes. The Wii U is
Hmm.
just HDMI, so it's going to give you the best. It's going to port out the best picture quality. So if you're playing it through the Wii U backwards compatibility, it should be giving you the best possible picture. So I
Hmm.
don't know. Maybe you're not doing it wrong after all. I was thinking you were using original hardware.
Do you have my video? Okay,
No, I do not.
let's do the thing.
There we go.
Yep. Anyway, something else I've been playing is my 3DS.
Oh my God.
I'm living in like I'm living in 2011 Nintendo right now. And so I decided to charge my 3DS and see how things were going over there in that world. And the funny thing is, it's so interesting to like turn on a hardware like that and then go and open like the eShop and etc. Like I had to update everything as well, like update the hardware, update the apps, and then I went into the eShop, and it turns out there's still games coming out on the 3DS, Liz. I don't know if you knew that, but the eShop is still getting updated. It's like I don't know if it's getting updated because there is some shit there that's like really out of date. There's like categories where it's like new releases or stuff like that, and then you open it, it's like really old stuff. Or it's like featured at E3, and then you open it and it's like from like stuff from like E3 2017 and like shit like that. Um but however, you can search the games. You can look at the games by order of release date from the most recent, and there are new games coming out like this week, like every week, like still this year. And they're like smaller games. They're not, first party stuff, but I still find it crazy that even though in so many ways it feels like, going through this old like house with all these spider webs, there's still like some new shit coming out there. Um, but I went back to my 3DS and I opened Street Pass, and there were like two people that I hadn't picked up on Street Pass that I from like literally years ago, because just so that you have some context on this,
Okay.
I asked these people at E3. Okay. I don't know which E3. I just know this because you can give your me a little like shout, and my shout said, "Oh, I love E3." And I remember it's because I went to E3 and I put that in there. So this was likely E3, like if it wasn't 2019, would have been like 2018, but it could have been even, I don't know. Um, and there's like a few funny things here is that, well, number one, there was an update to Street Pass that I hadn't had installed yet. And I don't know how old this update is. I think it's much older than I thought. But they added like new games to Street Pass. Um, and now the app runs so much better, and got me thinking like, why do we not have a Street Pass on the Switch, Louis? Why do you think? Because wouldn't it make sense for Nintendo to bring that feature forward in some way? Like, wasn't Street Pass one of the best parts of the 3DS? Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it was. That was a thing that made Street Pass was super hardcore irrelevant or relevant when it came to conventions. Like everyone was street passing with each other.
Hmm.
It made people want to bring the 3DSs for that very particular reason and stuff like that. So yeah, man, they're doing it wrong. I don't know what to say other than I do like the Street Pass, the puzzle feature, like when you're making the puzzle pieces and stuff. It's like
Hmm.
advertising for Nintendo, and at the same time it's like, you got to get your steps in to collect them coins, and it's
Which,
social
by the
features.
way,
Yeah.
I have like 600 pieces missing in a like or like there's like 600 pieces that I never got in that game. I have like 1,000 out of 1,600 or something like that. And now I wonder it hit the completionist in me, and I'm like, I kind of want to complete all the puzzles, but how can I do that in 2021? And it almost made me like start going this like internal like plan mode and start thinking like, could we put together some kind of 3DS Street Pass event in 2021? um Obviously after all this pandemic is over and stuff,
I think it's just go to a
so that I could
convention and
get all my
you will still get
puzzle
people
pieces.
go getting their 3DSs and stuff and at convention
Hmm.
season and stuff like that. There's that. But I did have at one point I did have my all of my puzzle pieces completed like 100%, but then like Nintendo released more puzzles. So I think I might be missing like
Hmm.
two or three puzzles. But I did complete it towards the end of the life cycle of the 3DS, so I'm pretty sure I wouldn't even be surprised if I have all of them. But the one thing you
Hmm.
can do is you can just use your 3DS as a pedometer and spend those coins with to buy
Oh
puzzle
yeah,
pieces.
that's true.
The thing I don't like about it is that it's a random luck of the draw, and so sometimes if
Yes.
you buy it, you'll buy a piece that you already own. But the only good thing about it is they will only sell you pieces for a puzzle that is incomplete. So like
Yes.
you will never buy a puzzle piece for a puzzle that you've already done. So if the ones that you have outstanding are the ones that you could draw from. So there's that. So
True. True. That might be the only way that I'm going to complete that now. But anyway, I'm playing Metroid Samus Returns, which was one of the swan songs of the 3DS. I think that game came out like after the Switch was already out. Um, that game's really good. And I had already played it before. Actually, I a friend of mine in 2017 had it, and I borrowed it from him, and I played the whole game up until like 90% of the way through. And then I didn't finish it, and I ended up giving it back. And I bought the game myself a little bit after that, and I never played it again. But then I just start. It's been long enough to where I could just start it again, and I start going through it, not really remember much. And that game is hella good. That game is really good. People talk about missing a Metroid game. People are excited to hear more about Metroid Prime 4 and etc. And the reality is, for the time being, while people wait, Nintendo should have just ported that game to the Switch. You know what I mean? Because it's a it's a high quality Metroid game that came out on the 3DS, not too long ago, and it looks good and it plays good. It's just old school, great Metroidvania stuff. Like it feels in a lot of ways like an evolved version of Super Metroid, right? Like it's not the first person, shooter adventure game that Metroid Prime is. It's more old school Metroid, but it's just a lot of fun and it plays really well. And it's all about killing all the Metroids. You got to kill um you got to kill 40 Metroids in the game. And as you're going through the game, you're like exploring this area and just kind of unlocking new abilities and finding all the different Metroids and trying to get all of them. And it's just good. So I just wanted to give a shout out to that game and say if you haven't checked it out and you still have your 3DS somewhere, you might want to
I,
you
I
might want to look into that.
I love how that we're since we're on the eShop, the Nintendo eShop. They're still selling it at full price for $40 here in 2021.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And dude, I was looking at some like 3DS games that I was thinking about buying, like physically, and there's games from the 3DS that are now, worth more than they were then when they came out because,
Yeah, it's like they were retailed at
Nintendo.
$40, and now the used game store selling it for 60 or something like that. I've seen that
Yep,
happen a lot.
exactly, exactly. Yeah,
I
Lewis, what you been playing?
Yeah, I was actually gonna go and go ahead myself here because I lied last week. I thought about it. I was like, oh shit, I completely forgot that last week I actually did have something to talk about, and I was just talking about Fortnite, and I completely neglected the fact that last week I had went to my nephew's house to go hang out with him, and we ended up playing NBA 2K21 because he's really big on like Game Pass or whatever. So he only gets like games that are there, and apparently that was on
Mhm,
it. And so he ended up we ended up only like just playing how do you call it? We only played what is that for, like that quick plays or whatever. So it's like
mhm.
it's not like you're playing the like any card based or any other gambling stuff or whatever. Just it's just you just do quick play. And so I wanted to comment on 2K21 from that perspective. Only playing it for two matches or we did two or three matches and that's it. And I'm not a sports game player. Like I don't play sports games. The last time I played a basketball game was it might have been like on the PSP, like NBA
Yeah,
2K5 or something like that, or whatever they. If it probably wasn't 2K, but whatever,
I
whoever
I
owned
I
that one.
think I played one in the PS3, and that's all. That's how far it goes for me as well.
Yeah. So the so like I like the last Madden I played was on the PS2. So I was like, you gotta just take that with what I say with the grain of salt. But I wanted to commend this game for the feel. Like it felt really good. Like just I can see why people would get
Mhm.
addicted to this game, or like from the sense of you know it was perfectly there's multiple different ways to shoot. There's a simple method, which is the method that I grew up with on the PSP, and there's like a more involved method where you're like actually aiming your shot with the sticks. But I didn't really play with that method or whatever, so I just used the simple stuff and like because I'm a basic bitch, and I just gotta say that it was fun. I like wrecked my nephew. I think I did like 104 to him. He did 40. It was a
Damn.
complete like blowout, and he got mad and he was like I'm never playing this game ever again, and I'm like, and I'm not even that good. I'm not like it's like oh my god. It's like I just sort of like kind of got a feel for the game and understood. I caught on pretty
Mhm.
quickly, but I'm pretty sure my playstyle was very simple, very easy, and easily exploitable. But he's a teenager, so that's kind of is what it is. Um, but other than that, like 2K, yeah, 2K21, man. If you're not doing any of those card pack things, like whatever their version of what do you call it? What's that thing where like you're doing card packs and stuff in FIFA 21? I forgot what it's called. They
I think
called
it's
it. Yeah,
Ultimate Team.
yeah. If you're not doing that
Mhm.
ultimate team bullshit or whatever they do in here in 2K21, I think this game is perfectly fine. But yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna do anything beyond just quick play because with quick play you get all the play you get access to all the players, and I'm like, well, why don't you just do that? But I guess quick play requires a local local play or whatever, so everyone plays online these days. So yeah,
Is it quick?
it was definitely quick. But that's one thing I was playing is was 2K21, and then the other thing I actually played was I dabbled in a little bit of VR, and my niece came over to my house. So it's like she brought her Oculus Rift, which is like my first.
Which Oculus is it?
It's the brand new one that came out last year. Like it's like
Okay, so
the
the Oculus Quest 2?
yeah, the Oculus Quest 2. Yeah,
Yes.
that's the one. And so there's like no cords, there's no nothing. It's just all
Yeah.
wireless, and it's all like on the headset, like the apps, the games. It's all like
Did you
stored
have to log in
locally.
on your Facebook account, or did you use her Facebook account?
My niece used her mother's Facebook account.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I
Okay,
was like,
okay.
when I like was in the main menu, it says hi, and it's got her name, and I'm like, that's not even my niece's name. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, duh. And I'm like, she's too young to. Well, she's not too young. She's 19, but I'm sure she doesn't have a Facebook account. So it's kind of
If
interesting.
you're 19, you're almost like it's interesting. You were about to say like she's too young to have a Facebook account, and she is, but not because 19-year-olds don't have Facebook accounts. Just because the Gen. I don't think the Gen Zs care about Facebook. They're all about the TikToks and
Yeah,
Snapchats, or maybe they're
face
probably over Snapchat by now, right?
Facebook is for
So
boomers,
yeah, I
according to
get it.
them. Yeah. So I did say that like there was some truth to it. Yeah. But yeah, so I was just trying out her VR headset, and I was pretty impressed because like honestly, like the controls were dope. Like that's my first time using
Mhm.
the Oculus Quest 2. And I'm thinking to myself, this is what I want for PSVR 2. And the fact that they were like, oh yeah, it's gonna have one cord, I'm like, you're already lost. So uh,
Which, on that note, if you want to bring that up on the, so that the people can see it, they did show just this week the new controllers for the PSVR 2. Did you see that,
yes, I
Lewis?
did. Here, I'll pull it up. And yeah, so the those VR controllers. It's okay. First off, when I'm looking at the image of these controllers, it looks so overdone, like too much circular things
Hmm.
happening here. But other than that, it looks like they're trying to be like very accurate with the finger tracking or whatever. But anyways, just to finish my thought about what I did, what I played with the Oculus. I played Beat Saber, and that's my first time I ever played Beat Saber. I've seen YouTube videos of people playing Beat Saber, and I thought that was pretty cool. And my first thing, I decided to play a song, and I selected the easy mode, and it was very relaxing. I'm swinging, and like kind of like
Hmm.
everything's pretty good. I'm having like this like 90 note streak going on or whatever, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty awesome. I'm having a good time. It was very relaxing. I was very like zen, and then I decided I was like, you know what? By the way, I was playing an Imagine Dragon song, and I accidentally picked that song. Like I was trying to pick a single, like one of their singles, and I
Hmm.
accidentally picked the song below that single. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm too lazy to back out anyways. And so I played that song, and I'm like, oh my god, I just discovered a brand new song and stuff like that, and I actually
Hmm.
liked it. So I think that there's some good like integration for people to
Not to
discover
go on a
music.
huge tangent, but Imagine Dragons, I think they're a fine band. I think I like listening to their songs, their hits especially. In fact, there was an Imagine Dragons song in the Switch, like one of the
Yeah,
original Switch commercials. Where it's
yeah,
like
that's one of their
first
singles.
thing first, yeah,
Yeah,
right. Really good song, but I see people hating on Imagine Dragons nowadays to a level that makes it seem like they're the new Nickelback, right? It's like they're they're getting to that meme territory, and it always surprises me because I'm like, I think they're totally fine. Which, by the way, mind you, I think Nickelback is fine too.
yeah. I
So
still listen to their
maybe I just
songs
have bad taste.
unironically.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
sorry.
Mhm. But anyway, that was a tangent.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine. So yeah, I was like listening. I was like, I enjoyed that song, and I'm like, I should probably like add that to my playlist or whatever. But so then I decided, it's like, all right, I was full of myself, and I decided to play that exact same song, but bump it up to hard. But there's
Mhm.
easy, there's normal, there's hard, there's expert, and there's expert plus. And I think I picked expert or whatever, and it was
At
just
that point, it's a workout.
yeah, it was. Yeah, I was not expecting that. Like, it was an actual workout. I
Mhm.
was all sweating and stuff, and I like had to get like one of those Clorox wipes and start like wiping down my niece's headset because I didn't want to give it back all sweaty and stuff. But yeah, I was a little out of it, and it was a lot. Like the same notes. Like suddenly. by like playing like hitting everything, like I heard more notes than there were the first time, because the easy mode only emphasized certain notes, so it just felt like the song was slower than it actually
Mhm.
was. But now it's like when on the expert mode you're hitting everything, every little nuance, and I'm like, oh my god. And it felt like, it kind of felt like there was like a deeper, like the song felt deeper all of a sudden. I don't know why, but it could be just me like
Mhm.
projecting or whatever, but I like the song and I like the game. I think it's awesome that you can play the game at whatever pace you want. So if you're a boomer like me, you can just play it like casually in easy mode and feel good about yourself. Or if you want to just get
You're
a
not a boomer. Shut up. Get
uh,
out of here.
yeah, so like you can, or you can just turn up, crank it up a little bit and go ham and just just like
Mhm.
like just um uh
Yep.
it was kind of funny, like before I played, like my niece was playing by on the VR before she let me get on, and I'm just seeing her in that VR headset just sort of like, and it looks kind of funny, from the outside looking in. But I will say there's one bad thing. I will say one critique about the Oculus Quest 2 is I don't think it does a good job of completely blocking out your vision. Like I can, if I
Mm.
left my eye, if my eyeballs go like look down, I can still see like my shirt, my shoes. I can just
Mhm.
like simply like look downwards without turning my head down, just sort of like peek down, and then I can see underneath me. Whereas the PSVR completely blocks it out, and
Could it be, I know it's gonna sound dumb to say this, but could it be that it wasn't properly adjusted to your head size? That,
probably because my niece,
Mhm.
she's much smaller than me. So yeah, I did kind of
Mhm.
like mess with the straps a little bit, but yeah, I probably didn't fully like secure it in or whatever. So that's
Mhm.
that's very well possible, but actually that may not necessarily be true, because they were over and I'm like, well, do you want to try out my PSVR? And they're like, yeah, sure. And so my niece then, like, put on the PSVR, and that's the first time she's put it on in years, because they played it before. And then that was the first thing that she did comment verbally, was that she can't see underneath her. So she had that problem
Mhm.
too. Um, and I had her play Iron Man VR, and I watched her play. And number one, I gotta say the PlayStation Move controllers, they feel antiquated just by when she was controlling and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, and she's doing the PS Move controllers to do like the blasters and stuff, like the Iron Man blasts, and it felt like very. It tracked well, obviously, because you got the camera and then the lights and stuff, but I feel like the buttons, the everything just kind of felt like it just, I don't know, like it was, they were obviously compensating, but it was lacking, for
I
2020
mean, PlayStation
standards.
Move, yeah, PlayStation Move is like 10-year-old technology at this
Yeah,
point, if
from the
not more,
PS3.
right? Like, it's,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, no, so it's, yeah, it's,
it it debuted on the
what's it,
PS3.
10 years old? Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's at least, I think it's at least 10 years old, if not a little bit more. Yeah, it's cool that they're finally gonna update the controllers for that, and that people, in one way, I think it's cool that they use the PlayStation Move controllers for PSVR, because that way the people that bought PlayStation Move back in the day had something new that they could do with it, as opposed to just keeping them in a drawer forever. So I think that was kind of like a smart call at that point for Sony, but it's about time that they upgrade that in some way. So the new controllers look pretty cool. I think they're kind of adapting this. They're not reinventing the wheel. They're really going with the new VR standard that's pretty similar to what Oculus does. Pretty similar to what Vive does, I believe. It's kind of cool that they have like the touch sensors for the fingers. That is used to detect, whether you have like your hands closed or open, or if you have like two fingers down and things like that. The controller can detect that, and even if you're not necessarily pressing any button,
That's what they
which I
called
think is
it.
pretty cool.
They called it adaptive
Yes,
triggers. That was their verbiage. And then
there
haptic
we go.
feedback.
Adaptive triggers. That's
Haptic
right.
feedback. Thank you, article.
And I don't own a VR headset. It's VR has been one of these things that I've been like interested in for a long time, and I've played plenty of things in VR. Either friends sets or even at work. Like previous work situations in the past as well. But I've never owned a headset on my own, and I keep waiting for the right one. Right, like I didn't want to buy a PlayStation VR because it felt like it was going to be antiquated soon, and it had like all these scores and etc. And then, with the Oculus Quest, that seemed like the ideal thing for me because it's wireless and etc. But I really don't like the Facebook and the fact that you need a Facebook account and that you got to log into your Facebook account to use it. It just I just don't like it, and that's enough of like a thing like for me to nitpick it and not want it. So like maybe the VR PlayStation VR 2 is going to be the way to go for me when that finally comes out.
That's true.
Um,
That's true. Plus,
it's
I
also one of those
expect it
things.
to be 100% backwards compatible, where they do this boost mode where it runs
Yes,
better.
yes, and there's also the thing with VRs because it's such new technology and there's new iterations of it coming out all the time that I keep being like, well, do I buy this one or do I wait and there's going to be a better one in a year? You know, because that's what it feels like. It's kind of like buying a phone. Like it's hard to know when to do it unless you're buying a new one every year. Um, but with VR, like I don't want to buy a VR headset and then feel like it's outdated 2 years later. Like I want to buy a VR headset that's gonna last me like a console generation and feel like it's a it's a great headset during that time frame.
As a matter of fact, I this October will be the 5-year anniversary of the launch of the PSVR, and I bought it day one, so I
Oh
can't
wow,
believe I've actually had it since for about almost 5 years now. So yeah.
that's crazy. That's crazy. Um, let's see. Let's find something else to talk about here. There was a Square Enix Presents today. Did you watch that at all, Lewis? Because like I didn't.
Yeah, I watched it live. Obviously, if you're in this YouTube channel, Level One Gaming did a live stream reacts, like a live reacts to it, and I was just joining in and
Mm,
watching it because I honestly did not even know that it was happening until like I'm like on my subscription feed, and there it was. So I watched it. I wasn't that impressed. I thought people were like buzzing and hyping over the Avengers, the new Black Panther expansion and stuff like that. And I was thinking to myself, first off, this Black Panther, like he looks dope. That's a good model. Like just like the textures
mhm.
and like the what they did with them is he's not like MCU. They did their own thing and made it like
Can you see him? I haven't seen the trailer yet. I'm pulling it up right now. Can you see him without the mask, or do you only
no,
see
no,
the?
just the
Okay.
suit, just him in the suit and stuff
Mhm.
like that. It almost kind of like those like he's got like these little diamond like things that reminds me of Killmonger because he got those like
Mhm.
like those markings all over his chest and these is like so they're like they kind of did a good job of just sort of like making their interpretation of it. And I feel like that was like the big pop was of the presentation was the new Avengers expansion. They showed Hawkeye gameplay. They showed a content roadmap of like five major updates that they're working on, increasing like the level cap, making new environments and stuff like that. Um, but ultimately, like I haven't actually even played Avengers. Like I bought it on Black Friday and it's still like in its shrink wrap. And
Mhm.
now that I got a PS5, maybe I'll actually play it. Because apparently the
Yeah.
next gen patches dropped today. I'm assuming I didn't really catch it, but they did throw out the PS5 logos and stuff like that, and the Xbox Series X logo in there. And then also they showed off new IPs. So there was a thing called Project Athia that was the
That had been showed before.
yeah,
Project
yeah.
Athia, I think, was part of the PS5 showcase or one of.
Yeah, yeah. So now
Yeah.
they showed off a new cutscene or whatever and gameplay, and that's always a good thing. That's the thing that gets people talking and buzzing. And so now Project Athia is now officially called Forsaken, and I don't know, like it looks interesting. I'm not like over the moon about it. Like I feel like they want this to be the next Horizon Zero Dawn, and as far as like making a pop like that. But for me, like I don't know. I don't know. Like I guess I'm not easily impressed, but also I am easily impressed. So I don't know what the hell to say.
There's also a new Life is Strange game that was announced. Apparently, Life is Strange True Colors will be released on September 10th, 2021. Follows the story of Alex Chen, a young woman with the psychic power of empathy. While there will be chapter breaks, this will not be an episodic game, and the full game story will be released at once. Life is Strange is one of these franchises that it's like um I know the first game was very successful, and I remember hearing a lot of buzz about that game in particular. It was one of those episodic story driven games, kind of like taking a page out of Telltale's book. And I try to play. I literally I think restarted that game like 2 or 3 times, and I just always end up falling off like a few hours in. It just kind of it never grabs me enough to really want to stick with it. And there's a few things with the story of the original Life Strange that I have nitpicks about that I just feel like it weren't really well thought out. And you see that really early on. in the game, and I don't want to get too into it because spoilers. But the interesting thing with Life is Strange is that it's continued to get like sequels. Like this is not just the first. It's had like multiple sequels at this point,
Yeah, Life is
and I
Strange
don't
2 and
know
then the
if I hear
prequel.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I haven't heard like anything almost about those other games. Like it feels like it kind of like the first game was like really big, and I don't know if the fans have stuck with the franchise. It seems like
Yeah,
is
I
that
don't
just
know.
me?
Like it just also they're like I think what Life is Strange and Life is Strange 2 are completely different stories. And then there was the
Hmm.
Life is Strange Before the Storm, which is like a prequel to the first one. And then also for this one, Life is Strange True Colors, one of the characters from the Life is Strange games is now making their appearance here. So that's making it like a connected
Mm.
universe and stuff like that. But they're an NPC. So I don't know, like this game didn't really catch me. First off, I feel like they're doing that thing where they with Ellie, like they did this thing with Ellie in Last of Us Part Two, where she plays the guitar and plays like a song and does her like in her interpretation of that song very slow, like And now they did
Hmm.
that. They did that with this trailer when they had her play Radiohead Creep, and I'm like,
Hmm.
I feel like that's a little like on the nose, like I don't
Hmm.
know, but these her powers don't impress me. The gameplay doesn't impress me. The story doesn't impress me. So I might pass on this one altogether. I still haven't even beat the first Life is Strange, but I watched a YouTube video that spoiled the ending for me, and I was thinking to myself after I watched that, I was like, well, now it's not worth playing anymore.
Hmm.
So, but what I did play like 3 episodes of it, and of the first game, and I was I was hooked. Like it felt like one of those like teen melodramas and stuff like that. And I was also
Hmm.
playing it with my nieces watching me because like they like to like couch watch me play like story based games and stuff like that. Like they love Detroit Become Human as well. So like
Hmm.
the Life of Strange is like up their alley as far as like that teen melodrama and like, oh my god, do this, tell her this or whatever. So like I feel like there's an audience for that, and I kind of like sort of fall into it, and I feel like there's a part of me that almost kind of feels like if I actually just played the damn game, that I would actually like get sucked into it. Like I watch like I like watching like campy ass soap operas and stuff like that. So like not like I don't seek it out, but if I accidentally get hooked, then I'll watch it. Like for instance, the CW's Arrowverse, like the Flash. If you think
Hmm.
about it, like the Flash is not a superhero show; it's a teen melodrama disguised as a
Hmm.
superhero show. So like
Right.
watching Arrow, watching the Flash, watching Supergirl, they're all teen melodramas, and I'm
Have
like,
you ever watched The 100? It's a CW show as well.
I have not, but I heard it's good.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
so well, I'm not caught up actually, like, I've only watched the first 3 seasons. There's been 3 more since, but I would recommend that because it's one of those kinds of shows too, but I really like it, and it gets better as you go through it as well. Like, it's a little bit cringy, like, it's a little bit too cringy in the beginning, but it gets really good. So I definitely would give a shout out to that. Something else that was announced here, it seems, is the new Tomb Raider, like, re-release, Definitive Survivor Trilogy. Bundles together Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Wasn't there a
And I'm
fourth one?
guessing no, it was just the three of them. There's like some of the spin-offs where it's
I
like, but it's
no,
completely
like
different, right?
the way I remembered it, it was three that were developed by the original developers of the 2016 Tomb Raider reboot, and then they made another studio develop a third game that nobody really cared about. Or am I
No,
like
you're getting it mixed up with Batman. What happened with Tomb Raider is that Crystal Dynamics made two of the games. Crystal
yes,
Dynamics made the first one and Rise,
right.
and then Eidos Montreal made Shadow. But it's three games. It's just three games. Yeah.
Okay, see, I was
And
thinking like Batman Arkham Knight, where like the third, like the Crystal Dynamics came back and made their third, cap, and then, like
yes, yeah, that was a different story there with Rocksteady. But anyway, that's cool. But at the same time, I was really hoping for a new Tomb Raider game announcement from this, which we might see maybe on a next one. Because the
so.
problem now would
I just
go
wanted to
ahead.
say that from this thing, I actually have this is kind of just blew up out of nowhere is Outriders. Like I never heard of Outriders
Oh yes.
at all, like straight up until like Twitter was talking about Outriders being on Game Pass. Like that was
Hmm.
like, so what the hell? Like I don't know for I don't know if I was just completely like oblivious to the situation. Like, why is it like everyone's treating Outriders like it's some big AAA release, like Call of on the level of Call of Duty or something like that? Like, oh, it's a big win for Game Pass. Oh, it's a big deal. Like, haha, I don't know. Like, I just this is like having watched this presentation. This is my first time actually seeing what Outriders looks like or what it plays like, and watching it, I'm like, it feels like they're trying to be Destiny, and I'm
Hmm.
not about that. Like, I don't play those kind of games, so this is not up my alley. But if I already have Game Pass anyways, I might try it, but
It's
don't hold me
interesting
to it.
how like me and you, we're not closed minded. I feel like we're actually pretty open minded as gamers, but we're still like biased based on the kind of like our circles and the things that we're looking at and seeing, and these things just like kind of catch us off guard, and it's so interesting to think about how many games just come out and become these huge like releases that everybody's playing and talking about, and they don't really cross a radar until they do, right? So it's like Outriders is that game as well for me, but Valheim that I brought up on the podcast a few weeks ago, that too is like this huge thing now. And it's just I don't know, it's just interesting how these games are just kind of sneaking up on us. And I think the truth is like this year so far has been a great like these last few months have been great moments to release a new game because there's really not a lot like from the franchise, especially in UIP. So from the franchises people are excited about and looking forward to, there was like nothing big that came out these last few months. I think Hitman might be the only one. And like it's like every game that's coming out is getting this benefit of having more eyes on it because people are just available and looking for something new to play. Which is not the case for me that's playing my fucking 3DS in 2021 and Skyward Sword, but for other people out there that are not like me, um, yeah, dude, fucking Game Pass just keeps like getting more and more stuff coming out to it. I'm gonna segue here into this shout out that like some of the new things that got announced for it. Undertale dropped on March 16th. Then on March 18th, which is day of recording, Empire of Sin, Near Automata, Star Wars Squadrons, Torchlight 3. Then on March 25th next week, Genesis Noir, Octopath Traveler, which that's a huge one. That was like a Switch exclusive, and now suddenly it's dropping on Game Pass. That's coming to console and PC. Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire, Superland, Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, Naruto Boy on March 30th, and then Outriders coming on April 1st. And there's a few things coming out too, but like the ones coming out right now are Hyper Dodge, Journey to the Savage Planet, and Machinarium. So
No love
they
lost.
are they are kind of killing it. Yeah, they're killing it right now. Like like the games that lost are no like not as nearly as big as some of the games that are coming in. Um, and that is on top of all the Bethesda games that we already talked about last week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So I gotta say that I'm surprised that Octopath Traveler is coming to Game Pass. But first off, it's coming to Xbox before it's actually coming to PlayStation. Like, that is kind of crazy because Square Enix is
Hmm.
Japanese as fuck, and I feel like Sony's audiences are open to Japanese as fuck games. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Microsoft isn't really known for that, and there tend to be more Western sensibilities to the audience. So putting it on Game Pass is probably going to be an easy W because now it's like you giving people a chance to give this game a chance, without having to pay extra for it. So um, yeah, this is really good. I remember this story happening. Very big deal. And yeah, I'll probably. I was gonna say that I don't know if I'm gonna play any of these games though because like I don't even download games on Game Pass like that. So that's kind of crazy. I'm paying for a service, not even using it. But I guess I do that all the time. So what can I say?
Yeah, it's I wonder if Microsoft is like making some moves thinking about the Japanese market or the market that's more interested in those Japanese games because Nintendo obviously they're a Japanese company but they're very strong right now with some of these more Japanese centric games. Not necessarily from Nintendo but from Square Enix and Atlas and
Like
Capcom and
Dragon
everybody else. And
Quest Heroes kind of stuff, or not Dragon, just Dragon Quest in general.
yes.
Also,
Yes,
Sony had
and it's
like a
interesting
lot
to
of success with stuff like Near Automata and stuff like that. Like that's a
Oh, yeah?
Japanese as fuck game. What's that other one? What's that one game that I'm trying to think of? Is it Near, or is it the one where it's like this girl and like she's not like, damn.
Gravity Rush.
I'm thinking like Gravity Rush, but let me just go ahead and take over. I'm just gonna like Google Near Automata, see if that's the game I was actually thinking of. It is not. It is not the game I'm thinking of. All right, go for it. Go.
Did you I was just gonna say, it's interesting. They're gonna get they're getting a Japanese studio with through Bethesda as well, at least one with Tango Gameworks, and I wonder if we're gonna start seeing Microsoft gain a little bit of space in within the Japanese market, but that's highly unlikely, honestly, because not only they have like no footprint there whatsoever, but also the Japanese market has kind of moved on to more mobile handheld gaming and stuff, and they're not big on console gaming over there anymore, at least not, in a statistically significant way
It was Near
compared
Automata.
to yes, compared to the Western market. Um Dude, this okay, so like final story for us to talk about here before I just kind of read some headlines and we move on. Did you see that PlayStation bought Evo? Like what's going on there? That's your kind of story to talk about, right?
This just came out of left field. Like I was completely
Yeah.
taken aback from that. Like, okay, first off, I am actually like when I think about it, I'm not surprised. I shouldn't have been surprised because Evo has been put in a weird position where they were basically like half canceled. Not Evo the
Yeah.
organization, not Evo the tournament, like, fuck Evo. It was fuck Mr. Wizard. You know,
Mhm.
Mr. Wizard is one of the co-founders and probably the most forward-facing, face of Evo. Um, so it's like if like Reggie Fils-Aimé got canceled or whatever while he was still president of Nintendo. Like that's how
Mhm.
like big that was. And so the Mr. Wizard situation, terrible, 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 and he's a terrible person allegedly. Got to say that since it hasn't been proven like in a court of law or anything like that, as far as I know. But that being said, um, they're Evo, the organization, like everyone else that's still running the other two co-founders, as well as like the organization, they need to make sure that they're number one financially solvent, that they can continue to run, that they have resources, that they still remain relevant. And I think that the fact that PlayStation, and I never heard of this other organization, RTS, I don't know who they are, but the fact that
Mhm.
PlayStation is going to come out here and buy it, and I think that's going to be good for them as far as Evo can continuing to have funding and continuing to push the boundaries with making it hit a bigger, wider audience. But at the same time, it's really funny that like Nintendo is, they have Smash Ultimate as one of the biggest, like most viewed stuff at Evo, and it's kind of funny that number one, Microsoft bought Smash.gg, which is the internet website that hosts tournaments and like people like have like infrastructure in like matchmaking and like and keeping track of stats. So Microsoft has Smash.gg, and PlayStation owns Evo. So it's like, what the hell? It's like Nintendo is dropping the ball big time because number one, Nintendo has basically said with their actions, not so much their words, but with their actions, they're saying like fuck the FGC or fucks the Smash community, and also there was Nintendo put out a quote, like a PR spokesman gave a quote to IGN about the situation, and it's such a non-committal response. It's like we'll
I
continue
can
it.
read it.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Nintendo has enjoyed engaging with fans at past EVO tournaments and wish the show organizers the best with their new venture. We will continue to assess EVO and other opportunities as we plan for future online and offline Super Smash Bros. Tournament activity. So yeah, they don't have the truth is like they don't have anything really to say. So it's just a PR, it was saying something without really saying anything kind of answer. Um in some ways, kind of like Phil Spencer, what he keeps saying about exclusives on Bethesda exclusives on Xbox and etc. And it's people are frustrated about the vagueness with things like this, but sometimes it's just they're required to do that because things are still not decided. I'm sure with this one, Nintendo was caught off guard too. So Now they got to figure out what they're gonna do. Maybe
Well,
they're gonna
see,
run their own Smash tournament.
well, that's the thing. Like, I think that Nintendo is not gonna want to bolster or help Sony's wallet, like their
Yeah.
bottom line. Like, I think that if they were to partner with them, you're just helping Sony make more money, and I don't think they want to do that. Um,
Hear me out here, Lewis. What if, PlayStation, since they're probably going to lose Smash Brothers, they're not going to be able to do it at Evo anymore. What if they replace it with the tournament for a PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale?
I saw that coming, and no, that's the PlayStation Battle Royale is a trash game. Number one, number two, it's stuck on old hardware. It literally got like left behind on the
Mhm.
PlayStation 3. Good riddance. So no, that's not happening. But it's kind of funny
Do you
because
think there are people out there that are like pro PlayStation All Star Battle Royale players?
I highly
Like
doubt
in
it.
some way?
I ridiculous. I
There's got to
would.
be one person.
You can be that
There's like at
person,
least
Dan.
one guy.
You can be that person, Dan.
That's
You know
true.
what? You know what, Dan? If no one wants the crown, you can wear it.
You know what? I am literally making a note about this right now because, something I obsess over way too much is like spreadsheets, right? I talked about it before. And I make spreadsheets for things like games I want to buy, right? Like my ideal game collection, games I want to own, even if I don't want to play them, games I want to own because I'm like, I think they're worth something or valuable or interesting or whatever. I want to have them as part of my game collection, as you can see back here. And I didn't have that game written down. I have not thought about that game in like 10 years. So I just edited it. I just wrote a note on it because that's probably a game I would want to buy. Like especially with what you just said. Like it's stuck in the PS3. You know what I mean? Like so that's no, that game's got to be kind of rare right now, you would think, right? Like we'll see. We'll
I don't
see.
know. I don't
But yeah,
know.
I don't have any thoughts on this story really. Like I don't follow Evo like you do, so I don't know what's gonna happen there. And it seems like it was a necessary thing to happen, like you said. Like it had to change leadership in some way, and that makes sense.
Hmm.
It is funny though, when we were first talking about Microsoft buying Bethesda and everybody started to speculate, what is Sony gonna buy? They went out and they bought Crunchyroll. And then now
They
it
bought
was
the
like,
FGC.
the now like the Bethesda acquisition has been finalized last week, and Xbox was all over the news again, and then everybody starts going like, which studio is PlayStation gonna buy? And they buy Evo. So it's like they're just making very interesting moves as a company. It's like they're
So
not.
fighting game. Okay, Evo is like the Olympics of fighting games. It's like the Super Bowl
Mhm,
of. It's like the world's most prestigious fighting game tournament in the world. Okay, the thing about Evo is that it has so much viewership. Like it is, it's got so much
mhm,
legacy behind it, and it's got so much hype moments that they're practically guaranteed. And so one of the things that happens is there's been a lot of integrations over like the last like 3 or 4 Evos where like new character DLCs for like Tekken and Street Fighter and like are being debuted during like grand finals or during top eights of like they have all like these integrations are perfect because Evo is so big and because they're in front of such an audience, they can have like smaller, like, fighting games that are like they're not like the Street Fighters or not the Mortal Kombats, those Japanese weeb games that I talk about. So you can put them in like in the main stage and now it's like, it's got like this platform and it bolsters the sales
right.
of the games and people can discover games because of like these hype moments or whatever like that. I think that's really awesome. And I think I think PlayStation sees that and they see it as an opportunity to like advertise the brand, the consoles, and like, if you're going to have all these events and they're running on PlayStation hardware, people are holding these dual sense controllers and stuff like that, then it's going to help bolster your sales and make you know, it's like, what is it called? Like guerrilla marketing kind of thing. Like, I
Yeah,
think that's awesome.
yeah, true, true
And
that.
one last thing before we go move on is I just want to read this tweet from Mark Julio. He's one of the organizers of Evo. He put,
Go for it.
also very important to note, Evo is still open to all platforms. The teams at PlayStation and RTS are enabling us to continue working with our community to support fighting games. Translation: they're not going to be exclusive. They're not going to,
Mhm,
Killer Instinct can only run on Xbox, so they're not going to like just throw out Killer Instinct because it's not running on PlayStation. I think that's awesome. I think that it's really cool of them to basically say, "Hey, we welcome all platforms."
mhm,
But the thing is, it's not their decision. So
mhm.
It's Nintendo's decision to like allow them to license it to stream Smash.
Yeah.
So I think that it's kind of like a little like a little jab in the sense that
Yeah.
if Smash is not at Evo, they're not going to be the ones to get blamed for it. Nintendo will be.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
that's like 3D chess right there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'll predict it right now. Smash is not going to be at Evo, and it's going to be Nintendo's fault. 100%. 100%.
I think that's an easy
Um,
prediction to make.
yep, absolutely. All right, so I'm just going to read the headlines for the final stories here that we didn't hit. Microsoft is bringing its Xbox Alto HDR feature to Windows. Windows 10 is also getting a new file explorer layout and more. Assassin's Creed Valhalla's Ireland expansion is arriving in April. There's an Easter event happening there as well. Activision Blizzard reports new layoffs. CEO reportedly set to pocket enormous bonus payout. It's one of those other sad stories from the games industry that we see way too often. Google Play lowers developer fees. Play Store cut to 15%. This is specifically for small developers that make, I believe, under $1 million in revenue. Now their cut is smaller if you're releasing on the Google Play Store. And Jade Raymond, who is the one of the famous developers behind the Assassin's Creed franchise and I think the Watch Dogs franchise, who has gone through a lot of different places. She was last at Stadia and ended up, leaving Stadia, and that after they closed the Stadia internal game studios and etc. She's opening a new studio called Haven in Montreal, and they're going to be working on a new PlayStation exclusive game. Which, for the record, this is not it's not like a PlayStation studio, like she's not like she's not opening a first party studio. They're gonna work in a second party relationship, kind of what and Insomniac Games used to be like a PlayStation, or what David Cage studio. I forgot the name right now. The Detroit people used to do with PlayStation as well. So yeah, PlayStation is better, more recent example, Kojima, right? Like so she's doing something like Kojima possibly, right?
Okay.
Anything you want to comment on, Lewis?
No, none of these catch
No.
my attention to tell you the truth. But wait, did you talk
Okay.
about the
So I'm glad
Bravely
I'm
Default 2 demo or no? Or is that something that you just played?
no. Yes, I just played that a little bit. So I was gonna, but I didn't have enough to talk about it really. And so I just kind of skipped it.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, there's a demo, Bravely Default 2 came out recently, and there's a demo out if you want to go check that out on the Switch. If I played some more, I'll talk about it next show. And I've also been playing Spiritfarer, which I might talk about next show as well. I'm like jumping around between so many games right now. It's nuts.
I
It's
honestly
like
have no idea what I'm going to talk about next week because I can like talk about Spider-Man, I can talk about Ghost of Tsushima, like
mhm.
or more Fortnite. I don't even.
You should absolutely play Astro's Playroom,
Oh
by the way. It's
yes,
really
that's
good.
right. I
Yes.
can basically figure out all the features or like demo all the features for the DualSense and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So it's
Yeah,
probably going to be the number. It should
exactly.
probably be at the top of the list. Yeah.
Agreed. All right, Lewis. So I think I'm gonna leave it like do you want to go and cover or new releases and our broke gamers guide here to wrap us up?
Yeah. Sure. Sure. I got this. I got this.
What are you buying?
All right. So for new releases, well, it's unfortunately we got a little dry here. So let's go with it. Plants vs Zombies Battle for Neighborville is coming out on the Switch on March 19th. Next up is Root Film. Root Film is for the PS4 and Switch on March the 19th, and then Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town on the Switch, March 23rd. Love, Li- Love Live, School Idol Festival, After School YY, Home Meeting.
I
What
think
the
that's an
hell?
anime.
Anime is fucking sounding title. PS4 on March 24th. Paradise Lost PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Black Legend PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, March 25th. Dandy Ace PS5, and lastly Yakuza 6. The Song of Life on Xbox One and PC on March 25th. In addition, just keep in mind that Doom Eternal wraps up Epic Doom Slayer Saga in Ancient Gods Part 2 DLC. So, yes, you can play out the final Doom Eternal DLC expansion. Destruction All Stars is getting seasons, a ranked mode, a battle pass, and a new character. And Disco Elysium is confirmed for March 30th on the PlayStation 5 and PS4. So, yeah.
I While you likely disconnect and reconnect here to for my camera to get brought back, I was looking into this Root Film game. It looks like it's a weird like detective visual novel. So I'm gonna read the beginning of the blurb here, just so that we're spotlighting at least something here. It's available on the Switch, and was it the PS4? Yeah, the PS4. Root Film is a thrilling adventure game with visual novel elements. Follow Rintaro Yagaumo as he's selected to be the director for the rebooted Shinmame mystery drama project, a TV series which was canceled for an unknown reason 10 years ago. His excitement for this amazing opportunity is quickly curbed when a horrible murder interrupts their location scouting process. Follow him and a cast of unique and memorable characters as they are drawn deeper into a thrilling mystery. Become your own detective as you unravel the truth through investigative gameplay mechanics, adding a new layer into the visual novel formula. Um, so yeah, seems kind of interesting, but I don't really like playing visual novels, so I probably won't play it.
Before we move on to the next segment, I just got to say that I completely forgot that I did play a game this week, and I want to talk about it next week.
Oh, okay.
I did
Cool,
it. I
cool,
did
cool.
the same thing with NBA 2K21. But you know what's kind of funny is you can go to level1gaming.com and read my review of the game. So there you go.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Do you not want to say which game it is? Like, what's the name?
Uh, what was it? Damn, I can't remember the name of the game to tell you the truth. That's
All
pretty
right, I'll bring
bad.
it up.
That's pretty bad. I'm gonna just go out and say it. Like, I didn't really like the game, so I gave it a 6. Though I gave it a 6 on the grounds that the game was good for what it wanted to do, not for what I liked or didn't like about it. You know what I mean? So that's like I was.
Dungeon Defenders Awakened.
Yeah, thank you, thank you for going to level 1 gaming for me. Yeah, so it was. It's a. No, I guess I'll talk more about it next week, but I'll just say it's a. Damn it! What's that genre called? That base building thing where it's like I
The
can't.
tower defense genre is
There you
not a
go.
widely popular genre to a general audience. So
There
if
you
you
go.
want to do a game in this genre, there needs to be a unique hook to capture the audience's attention. Dungeon Defenders Awakened bet big on the action RPG angle, but for me, this game falls short. I'm not big on the tower defense genre. Having played this, I can appreciate the good that went into Dungeon Defenders Awakened, and it's because of that I give this game a 6 out of 10. The
Yes.
game is out for Xbox One and Series XS on March 17th for 29.99. Yeah,
Thank you for reading my words
that's
to
your
me.
end there.
Thank you for
No,
reading
no
my
worries,
words.
no worries.
No, yeah, like just the tower defense, man. It's that's my second tower defense game I had a review for Level One Gaming, and both of them are completely like unique, but this one just kind of like didn't do enough for me. But there there are people that would enjoy the game and would sink hours and hours of gameplay into that game. I'm not one of them though.
Mhm.
So yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the good stuff. What's on sale?
Got a selection of good things on sale, stranger.
So I gotta say that I am very happy with what's happening here as far as Broke Gamers Guide. So let's go ahead and first hit up what's happening here on Epic Games. So as we had talked about last week, it's gonna be the fall. It's free this week, and let's go ahead and read the blurb on that. It says here, acclaimed story, engaging puzzles, tense action. You are Arid, the AI on board a Mark 7 combat suit. The human pilot encased within the suit is unconscious. You must find a way to follow protocol and save his life. 2014 Game of the Year for Best Story. Interesting.
I wonder on what publication
I
that
know,
it was
right?
awarded.
It was definitely. I don't think it was the Game Awards, but
Mm-mm.
yeah. Um, the other thing that's happening here, let me just go ahead and bring you up, is PlayStation is going really ham on the sales for March. There's a Mega March sale that's happening, and I wanted to spotlight this one here. I found on the second page here on this website, it's they got Scott Pilgrim versus the World is 20%
Mhm.
off to $12. So that's not too shabby. It's already $15, so having a couple bucks knocked off. I really want to play that game. I had a good time playing it on the 360 when I went to Fame's house. So that's worth getting, as well as just in general. There's a lot of sales happening. I see a Crash Bandicoot 4. It's About Time is knocked down to $39, and there's an Immortals Phoenix Rising and Assassin's Creed Valhalla like combo pack for $60. But of course,
Oh wow.
Immortals Phoenix Rising is also on sale by itself as well as Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But also, I actually reviewed this game for Level One Gaming. Werewolf the Apocalypse, uh,
Mhm.
Earthblood. That's actually on sale for $30. So not too shabby. I gave the game an okay, or was it a mediocre? I think I might have given it a five. But yeah, so I said on my review is like if the price was right, then it's worth getting. So um, yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything to say about these particular sales in that's happening here on the PS Store?
I'm just gonna shout out the deal of the week that they're spotlighting right now, which is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, currently for 1979, so a little under $20 there.
Yeah, but it's free on Game Pass, so I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Just throwing
that well,
shade.
not everybody has Game Pass.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Also, there's a sequels and prequels sale happening on the PlayStation Store. There's like three different sales happening. There's a Games Under 20 sale and all that stuff. The sequel sales didn't really catch my eye, but for some odd reason they're charging $22 for Overcooked. I didn't realize Overcooked still commanded that much, or Overcooked 2 still commanded that much money. But yeah, now here's the big story. Here's like we had mentioned like the Microsoft what was it called, Game Pass stuff, but now
Mhm,
PlayStation is just like, you know what, we're just gonna give away the goods for free. So Sony is giving away Horizon Zero Dawn and 9 other PlayStation 4 games. So that's 10 titles that are joining Ratchet and Clank, which is already free. So
mhm.
um, Horizon Zero Dawn is going to be free to everyone for PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 beginning next month. As Sony expands its efforts to support the folks keeping safe and socially distancing in the final stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. So between the Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition will be available for free between April 19th and May 14th, and a PlayStation Plus subscription is not necessary to access the game. In addition, beginning March 25th, players will get access to 9 more games, 5 of them for the PlayStation 4 and 5, and 4 of them for PlayStation VR. So they are Abzu, Enter the Gungeon, Res Infinite. Oh my god, I've been wanting Res Infinite. Yes, I get to play that on VR. Subnautica, The Witness, and Astrobot Rescue Mission. Oh my god, I paid money for that game. Okay, Moss, Thumper. Now I almost broke down and bought Thumper, so I'm glad I didn't buy it. Now I can get it. Paper Beast for PlayStation VR. So those are the 9 games, and they will be available until April 22nd. Yes, Dan, what do you think of this lineup?
Well, I think it's really good. If you have a PlayStation, there's no reason not to go and just get all those games. What is the word for it? It's add them to your library or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Um, I want to give a shout out to Abzu. I think Abzu is really good. It was made by some of the people behind Journey. They spun off and made their own studio and worked on Abzu, and the score is good, the gameplay's good, the visuals are great, and I feel like that game it's one of those like situations where had that game come out before Journey did, I feel like it would have almost gotten a similar level of love. Maybe not as much, but it would have been like very well received and positively received. The fact that it came out after Journey makes it inevitably be compared to it and generally considered not as good. But it's still really really good, a cool, relaxing, like similar type of immersive experience, kind of like Journey is. I know that a lot of these other games are beloved titles. There's some that are a little bit more like deep cuts than others, but for the most part, these are all games that I've heard about. The Witness was a huge game.
10 out
That's
of 10.
Jonathan Blow's game is like a 10 out of 10 at IGN and stuff. Astrobot Rescue Mission for a lot of people is like one of the best VR games.
The Mario
I
64
know.
VR.
Yes, yeah, there we go. Thumper is very beloved as well, and Moss. I know that's the game where he plays a little mouse. Um, I do want to say, Liz, I do think it's interesting that so many of these games are VR games. It's like 4 out of 10, right? Are VR games,
Yeah.
and In fact, it's even possible that one of these other games is playable in VR as well. I think. Like I
Like
don't
a
remember if maybe like
Res
something.
Infinite has a VR mode. It's playable in regular PS4 and in
Yes.
VR. Yeah.
So 5 out of 10 of these games are playable in VR. So the thing that I find interesting when looking at this is I wonder if there's some kind of like backhand strategy to the choice of these games. And I wonder if Sony is kind of secretly hoping that that people are going to go out and buy a PlayStation VR right now because I don't know, it just seems interesting that they would include so many VR games in my opinion. It could also
My question is, do I am I even allowed to add these games to my library if I already have them on PlayStation Plus? You know what I mean? Like if I were to able to like check the
Oh,
box and then add it to my library, and then that way, if I ever stop playing for PlayStation Plus, I can still have the games. You know?
I don't know. That's a valid question. Maybe we're going to
Huh.
try to do that and then come back to it
Report
next
back
week
next
and
week. Yeah.
yeah, which we're probably not going to do because we're going to forget about it.
All right. Well, let me bring you back up on video.
All right.
There we go.
I thought you had done that way earlier, by the way.
Nah.
I had no idea I was out of video this whole time. We need to do a thing, Lewis. I don't know if this is possible, by the way, on OBS, where when I disconnect, it shows like a photo of me or something. You know what I mean?
It does. No, it does normally, but it does the little ticker thing whenever it's spinning its wheels.
Mm,
All right.
okay, because I feel like I've seen that on podcasts before, where it's like somebody disconnected and then they get replaced by like a static image of them for the time being.
Okay. All right.
You ready to take us home?
Yeah, I got it.
It is time to end. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Ready Press Play. Remember, you can reach the podcast at readyplaynetwork.com or simply at Ready Press Play on Twitter or TikTok or in the comments below if you're on YouTube. I'm on Twitter at the Dan Lima and Lewis.
At Chakalaka88.
Don't forget to subscribe, give us a review, tell your friends about the show, and all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Peace.